I always felt out of place in a lot of spaces, because being biracial, growing up predominantly Hispanic, because, you know, we grew up with my mom, and my mom immigrant in this country. Naturally, we operated in spaces and places that fostered community for like Latin American and Hispanic people, but I always felt othered, because it's like I was never just Geraldine. It was like la morenita, la negrita, like the little black one, or like.
Hello, everyone.
And what it do?
Yes, we are back
With another episode of the
Simpletons Podcast. Still got to work on that.
Yeah, it's
coming along better, I feel.
It's a little dweebish, but it's still love.
That was a bit obnoxious. I didn't mean to scream like that.
Don't worry, it's perfect. So today we're talking about Geraldine.
Wow.
Yes.
The girl, what they call them? Jill of all trades?
Jack
of all trades?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to be. G of all trades, if
G
you
of
will.
all trades.
She do what she do. She do what she wants. She do it well. So let's talk about you. Cindy, get in her business.
All right, Geraldine.
My hands are fully sweating. I'm not gonna.
No, why you
I don't know. I
nervous?
guess it's just like it's different to be like. It's okay.
Treat it like a meat.
Yeah.
I got some chalk. No, I'm just playing. Carry on.
Where's the chalk?
All right. So, welcome to your episode.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. How you feeling?
Like I said, my palms are sweaty.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Now.
You're done.
Okay. Now, describe yourself in 3 words and why.
Okay. Describe myself in 3 words. The first one is brave. I think I'm brave for many reasons. I feel like in my lifetime, I've been through a lot. Like, I've actually experienced so much. And if I sit down and I think about, like, truly the things that I've overcome, I'm not going to give myself too much credit, because that was really God who had his hand over my life. But in many instances and situations where I've seen people who maybe, or I've heard of people and you read of people who just, you know, experience trials in their life for real, and then they choose to be a victim of the circumstance versus rising up to the occasion. And I feel like it's brave to fall and to get back up and then fall again, and just to continue to do it. And just to not be scared of failing. So I think brave is a really good word to describe myself. Secondly, passionate.
Yeah.
I think I am a passionate person.
For sure.
It's both a good thing and a bad thing, because I care so much. It's really hard for me to do something half-heartedly. Like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to put my all into it, to the point where it's almost tunnel vision. So I get so focused on wanting to give my all to something that I get lost in the plan versus, you know, looking at things big picture. But in the same breath, like, I feel like my passion is how I show up for the people that I love, and even people that I don't know. I just care a lot. And it's, like I said, both good and bad, but I think that's a good word. And then kind. I think I'm kind.
Sweetie babe.
Yeah, she really is.
And that one is, it's probably one of my favorite things about myself, because like too many times my friends tell me, like, girl, you just, it's almost weird. Like, I'll see a stranger on the street. I remember one time I was in a parking garage, and this man walked by. He's like, oh, I have a headache. And I had like a brand new bottle of aspirin just in my car for some reason. And my instinct was like, do you want this bottle of aspirin? Like, people necessarily don't move like that in this world. And I feel like I've experienced situations where people weren't so kind to me. So I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of the opposite of kindness. And because I know what that is, my goal in life is to make sure that I can be kind, because there's not enough of it in this world. So those are the 3 words. Brave, passionate, kind.
The kind,
I would
yeah.
say, like, being kind is very brave in this world.
Yeah.
It really is.
Literally.
And you have that, like, really embedded in you. And it's a gift to be as kind as you are. Like, you are
Thank you.
you're a very kind and sweet person. So that's a beautiful gift that you have.
That's so good. I'm gonna harp on kind too, just because it's like, in this world, being kind is kind of like weird. Because I'm not gonna lie though, the aspirin part, you offer me drugs, is you cool?
Like, I don't know who
In
you
the
are.
same breath, it's because like the world is so used to not sharing, not caring about strangers. Like everything is everybody for themselves. So to be loved that way is so beautiful. It'll be weird for people initially, but then once you realize like this is a sincere person, it's so beautiful. And it's like Cindy said, it's a gift because it's hard to come by, and it's so much easier to be hard, like a hard body be. To defend yourself. That's why a lot of people are mean. Like hurt people, but instead of like, and you've been hurt too, but instead you flip it around, which like you said is a brave thing to do, because you put yourself at risk to being hurt again, but that's the risk of love. Like that's good.
I feel like in that same breath too, it's hard because and I don't want to make it seem like I think I'm like this Mother Teresa kind of person, because I'm not. Like I have my moments and sometimes I am selfish, and because I feel like my natural instinct is just to do the kind thing, it's really hard for me to understand how people move in this world. So like I feel like I am sensitive to that sometimes, because it's just like, dang, like I would never in a million years think to do that, but like people so readily just move crazy. And it sucks sometimes, but you have to look at it glass half full, because like that's just grace in general. There's so many situations where I don't know, like that's just the Jesus in all of it. Like he came and people tried him left and right, up and down, side to side, and he still chose to, you know, turn the other cheek. So I feel like, yeah.
That's so good. I love that. So with that said, like, how'd you get that way? How'd you grow up? So culture, faith, family dynamic, friendship, whatever. How'd you get here?
So I grew up in Miami. I'm a first generation American. So dad's Haitian, mom's Nicaraguan. And that just cultural dynamic as a whole, I think shaped me a lot. My parents split when I was super young, but the relationship with my dad is better now than when it was when I grew up. But my mom's always been my rock. I had a brother, and me and him, that's my treacherous twin. Like we grew up, we had such a, like your typical brother-sister relationship where that was like my enemy but my best friend at the same time. And I'm grateful that I had him, because in a lot of ways, my brother shielded me from a lot, you know? And just to have him be there was different. Growing up wasn't easy. Like we didn't always have it all together. Single mom, the whole shebang. We're not going to get into that part. But overall, the move, we're going to bleep that out because y'all don't need to know where we live.
That'll be a funny bleep.
Yeah,
Carry
we're going to bleep it out because y'all don't need to know where we're from. But moving to the city where we are right now, I think really did shape me. I met a lot of people who just helped me truly evolve into the person that I am. So because my parents split, I always felt out of place in a lot of spaces, because being biracial, growing up predominantly Hispanic, because you know we grew up with my mom, and my mom immigrant in this country. Naturally we operated in spaces and places that fostered community for like Latin American and Hispanic people, but I always felt othered. Because it's like I was never just Geraldine. It was like la morenita, la negrita, like the little black one, or like, you know, like it was always hyper focused on I was Geraldine, but there was a caveat to my existence in these places. And I didn't really, growing up, had the language to understand that. Like I always felt different, but I didn't know necessarily why, because it didn't really happen in my family, but more so in the community where we grew up. So then moving on, I got to middle school, and it's like you finally get to integrate. And like I felt ugly for the longest, and I wasn't just ugly. People just weren't checking for me because I just didn't fit the stereotypical type for people. So I got to college, and then I feel like that's when I really started to root myself in and find identity in who I was. But college within itself was just a time amidst of so much exploration. Like I got caught up in a lot of things. When looking back now, I don't regret any of it, because I feel a lot of the experiences I was how do I say this? I was Young, Wild, and Free's spokesperson, like truthfully and honestly. And I think back to a whole bunch of situations and things. Child, we was outside,
We were.
but
Grand old time.
grand. We were outside, but all of those experiences, I feel, allowed me to really find and root myself in who I was. And even in the saddest times of my life, I felt, I don't know, I just felt a covering over me. And this was before I even believed, you know, before I had faith. And I look back to all the things that I was trying to seek, and the identity that I so deeply felt like I lacked. Like I felt like I was free floating in a lot of spaces where I just felt othered. Even in black spaces, I felt othered, because it's like, oh, it's the light skin mixed one. Like there was always a caveat, but it wasn't until like I had an encounter and I found true identity with the one who created me that I was able to strip away all the things that the world tried to tell me of who I was, and saw myself the way that he sees me. So, and then with truly understanding who I was and who I am, I can look back in my life and say, like, I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense, but
It do.
It is.
that's really it. Culturally, my culture is such a big part of my life, and now a lot of the resentment that I had with my dad really kept me from wanting to know my people more. And that was something that I didn't even understand or have language to understand. But it wasn't until, you know, once therapy did the things, they're like, oh, girl, you have some repressions. And I'm like, okay. But now I have such a beautiful and fruitful relationship with both halves of my family that's just allowed me to just, I don't know, love holistically and just be able to enjoy life. And I don't know.
We love that. Okay, girl.
Beautiful answer.
Cindy, do you want to take that last question?
What would you tell your past self at a specific age, and what you needed to hear? You want me to reread it?
No, I'm thinking.
She said, repeat the question, please.
I would go back to me at 20. Yeah, I would go back to 20-year-old me. And I would tell her that you don't have to, it's not all on you. Like, it's really not all on you. And there's just some things that you don't have control over, truly and honestly. And
Take your time, Bookie.
Ew. Yeah, there's just some things you don't have control over, and it's okay to let people take the weight sometimes. It's not the end of the world if you fail, you know? Because you're going to continue to try to make plan A through Z, and life is going to continuously show you that you might have plan A through Z, but none of those are going to be the way that it's going to go. And you have to be okay with letting go of control, because if you don't, you're going to continue to find yourself in these cycles, these repeating circles, and you're going to continue to feel stuck because you refuse to just see another way that's not your own. So I would tell her that it's not all on her, and letting go is not the worst thing that could happen to you. There's so much peace, there's so much freedom, there's so much happiness on the other side of feeling like you gotta have it all. So just trust in somebody other than you.
That's good.
That's great.
That's my takeaway.
Each time you asked us, you were like, how did you endure? Or like, it didn't happen overnight. So give us a little piece of how, or just whatever.
Grace, honestly.
For
So
sure.
much grace. And truly and honestly, I think the biggest lesson for me was understanding that you have to endure joyfully.
Yeah.
That's the lesson that I've learned. And how did I get here? Taking a lot of time to just be. I believe in sabbaticals. Like,
It's
I believe
necessary.
in, you have to, especially being somebody who's always like I want to show up for people. Like, I want to be there. And in part, I came to realize that a little bit of that is also a trauma response. Like, you're so used to not having people be there. Like, oh no, I can't be like that, because I know what that is. So when your motives are displaced, you have to sit down and find like a center for yourself. So whether that's therapy, I've spent the majority of this year in therapy, and the unpacking that I've done just in the stillness has truly changed my life in a way that, you know, what I feel like I'm walking into, it didn't happen before because I didn't have the maturity. I didn't have the tenacity. I didn't have the will to keep going like I do now. So sit on somebody's couch for real. And like, of course, God, like none of this would have been possible. Like none of it is possible without God. So having a faith. And I remember when I soft believe, like, I remember telling you, like, she's been on fire for the Lord friend since jump, and she loved us when we were fully deep in the world, y'all.
Please, child.
Deep in the world.
I was a mess too.
Yeah, but even just to show up and be authentic in who you were really did help me see, like, you know, Jesus isn't this tyrant that the world makes him out to be. Like, he lived just like us, for real. So that helped me truly like seek out the Father and root myself in that. So the Lord in therapy. And
Jesus in therapy, boy. Jesus in therapy.
Like Jesus in therapy, because the people really, you think it's one or the other. Like God gave people the ability to therapize. Like that's a gift. That's a spiritual gift.
It's heavy.
So go and seek out help. It's not about praying it away. Sometimes you go through things because you need to go through them. Go sit on somebody's couch and unpack it for real. But yeah, that combo, child.
Bow to the enemy. Bow, yeah.
Lucy be upset with me.
That's good.
Yeah. So right then and there in community, having friends, like you guys have been my rock in a lot of situations. And I think too about my childhood friends, and y'all love them down, you guys. My church community, powerlifting, child.
Yeah, we're finna get into that soon.
That was a long one. I don't know if I answered that question, but moral of the story, like, to get to this point, it takes work. Like, you don't wake up in the morning and you're healed. I don't even believe we're ever all fully healed. It's life. Life is a process.
It's layering.
Yeah. You overcome so that you're prepared for whatever comes next, and then you might get knocked down, but child, you just got to get back up. That's really it.
That's good. All right, your episode.
Y'all.
There you go.
This is episode, I don't remember, what is it, 4?
Big four.
Big 4. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel.
That's crazy.
Come find your girls on all streaming platforms.
I was like, what?
Find us. No, because don't play. We are bleeping out the location because some of y'all don't really come find me because
Love you though.
I live in Alaska.
Right.
Bye.
Bye. Adios.